Hello, everyone. Glad to be so well introduced. Got my notes here. I hope you don't mind if I look at it from time to time. So basically, I'm honored to be here, to be invited. Funny coincidence is that not more than a month ago, we've been invited by organizers of Dubai Expo 2020 to help them promote their event. So turns out we're engaged in both expos, even the future one. Another thing is that in your agenda, the topic is slightly different. I hope you don't mind. I figured that I wanted to give you some kind of value and some knowledge that not only advertise our product. So, oh, here's the. Okay, this shouldn't happen. I wasn't expecting it to happen like that. All right, so basically, I found a fancy way of naming our business model. Just creating devices that materialize physical objects out of a digital file. Of course, we just make 3D printers. We started to operate on printers, to work with printers in 2012. We've been funded by VC in 2013. And the biggest success, that's obviously a joke. It's not that we are still existing on the market. It's that we have the opportunity to adopt a different strategy, and so many others, well, our past competitors don't have that opportunity. So I'm going to tell you exactly what's transforming our company, on what basis we decided to change. So the main question is 3D printing really a hyped term, or is it going to be in every home? Is it going to be present in every school? Well, there is obviously a hype for that, and that's good on one hand, because that's probably the reason why we started doing stuff with 3D printing. But the fact is, it also has its disadvantages. I mean, the hype thing is, it's kind of like with alcohol. You get some of it and you're happy with it. When you get too much, it has well, wrong consequences. So we got to the market because of the hype, but it turns out we weren't the only ones. There are going to be charts, so I'm hoping I will not bore you to death. But this is really interesting, especially for someone who knows Gartner's not hyper, it's hype chart. Someone made a mistake. I wrote it correctly. All right. All right, so Gartner's hype chart identifies certain technologies and places them on a line, which is basically on one axis you have expectations, and on the other one axis it's the time, and at the same time it's the productivity or mass adoption. So there are plenty of technologies here, but if you look at it, yeah, that's the same chart with 3D printing. So 3D printing, as you can see, it's on the top of the expectations chart. That was in 2013, and that's when we founded our company. The fact is that at that time, we didn't consider it a bad thing. I saw that chart in 2013, and I thought, oh my God, that's so cool, we're on the top. But I wasn't considering it's going to move down. And in fact, it kind of did. But in 2014, what Gartner did, by the way, Gartner is a research company. What Gartner did, they identified different areas of 3D printing. In 2013, it was just 3D printing. So what we think that happened 3D printing, or mostly before was mostly consumer 3D printing. Might be able to show it to you here. But so in most companies, actually the ones that entered the market, they saw their opportunity into delivering 3D printers to home user, consumer users. The problem is that users are not ready yet, and the technology is not ready either. So Gartner did a very good thing, because they splitted the technology into various areas. And at that time, when we saw the chart, we thought, okay, so it looks like we're not in a good place. We shouldn't be in consumer 3D printing. We should be moving somewhere else. So we decided to change the strategy. So in 2015, turns out the trend was confirmed. The consumer 3D printing moved even more down, but again, Gartner, what Gartner did, he merged technologies, our technology, with various industries. So here you've got, for instance, dental devices, hearing devices, manufacturing operations, supply chain, industrial 3D printing. You also have implants, oil and gas. So various industries which before were never merged with 3D printing. It turns out they can find application for 3D printing technology. So, oh, and that's another thing. This is the ultimate confirmation of what Gartner foreseen and what actually happened. This is the stock market reaction for the past 5 years. You exactly see how the hype affected the stock market prices of the biggest 3D printing companies in the world. Both of them are listed on New York Stock Exchange, and clearly see that it's the stock market price is so aligned to the chart, to the Gartner's chart in terms of time. Okay, it's not just me. Carl Bass, who is Autodesk CEO, he basically totally agrees with me, or the other way, actually. But the consequences, what are actually the consequences? Well, I told you that it's a bad thing because the stock markets went down, and a lot of companies went out of business. To tell you the truth, we were close to that ourselves. We found what we actually did. We were in a good position because we had the time to transform and adapt to a different strategy. But the good thing about the hype is that it drove a lot of attention. So basically, everyone here, and I think most people on Expo heard about 3D printing. Everyone here at least saw it, and on the other hand, it drives innovation, because the hype thing, it creates a lot of companies, usually companies that are within the sector. So so that's a good thing, and our opportunity is that the market reaction is to professionalize and create applications in various industries. So I can tell you that that when we understood exactly what's happening to the market and to various industries, and we totally switched the way we operate, we started to make money. And this is how actually we see 3D printing. It's not just about printing toys. Actually, we're printing toys here on Expo, but this is the right way to use 3D printers. So using them for molds, for medical and dental devices, for assembly, for tooling, in all kinds of industrial applications. And this is our blockbuster product, that is entering the, well, we actually started selling it a few months ago, and it's going pretty well, I can tell you that. So I don't want to tell you too much technical details about the product, because I don't think you might need it, because it's not a home printer. It's really big. It weighs over 100 kilos. You can't place it at home, and you need a proper training to operate it. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'm here for you.
You show us an example of the like using your printer, 3D printer to make a tool, something like a tool. You mentioned tool. I wonder what the material is, and if it's not just like sample of the tool, but not really the tool that which you could use in reality. The question behind is like, what kind of material is it, and whether this material can really be used for certain purposes, or is it more like just visualization of the 3D model?
All right. I'm happy to answer that. We're talking about real functional parts that can be adapted in production lines. Actually, we're engaged in a few projects where we are introducing 3D printing to certain factories. So most production lines, they use CNC milling to create parts, metal parts, which are assembled into production lines. We're not telling those factories to, hey, trash your CNC mills and change it to 3D printers. 3D printer is just another tool, which has its limitation. And one of its biggest limitations is the material. We don't print metal, we print in plastic. But plastic can be really durable. If you recall when you were a kid and you were playing with Lego bricks, when you stepped on a Lego, well, it hurt, right? So, but the Lego is fine. It doesn't break that easy. So if you decide to make a functional part, you configure it for durability, and you get a durable part. The main disadvantage is the temperature resistance. It can withstand up to 100, 150 degrees tops, and then it's getting kind of soft. So yes, you can make functional, real parts that can be used in a production line. That's one thing. And most of those parts are being used in areas where human interaction is needed, because CNC milling doesn't make parts which are refined for user. So, for instance, if you need a grip, and it's kind of not really convenient to grab a metal grip, but you can actually 3D print a grip which is very pleasant to hold. Hope that answers your question.
Any more questions?
All right. Thank you.